I think great investors, to some extent, are like great chess players. They're almost born to be investors. Obviously, you have to know a lot, but partly it's temperament. Partly it's deferred gratification. You got to be willing to wait. It's a weird. Good investing requires a weird combination of patience and aggression, and not many people have it. It also it requires a big amount of self-awareness and how much you know and how much you don't know. You have to know the edge of your own competency. And a lot of brilliant people are no good at knowing the edge of their own competency. They think they're way smarter than they are. And of course, that's dangerous and causes trouble. I think you find out whether you got the qualities to win at poker by playing poker. I have found, Warren and I have talked about this. In the early days, when we talked about our way of doing things, which is working so well, we found some people got it and they instantly converted to our way and did very well. And some people, no matter how carefully we explained it, and no matter how successful they were, they could never they could never adapt it. They either got it fast or they didn't get it at all. So that's my experience. We have a very peculiar way of looking at things. We want to buy something that's intrinsically a very good business, meaning that an idiot could run it and it would do all right. And then we want that business, which an idiot could run successfully, to have a wonderful person in it running it. And if we have a wonderful business with a wonderful person running it, that really turns us on, and it works very well. And now we do make exceptions, but not many. And it's a pretty simple philosophy. Warren sometimes says you have to choose good person or good business. And you know what he says? This is not politically correct. He says good business. He wants something that has such tremendous strength. I had a friend when I practiced law, and he said, if it won't stand a little mismanagement, it's not much of a business. And we like businesses that stand a lot of mismanagement but don't get it. So that's our formula. And we can't make it work perfectly, but it certainly worked better than most people's. And we reject some wonderful businesses with some wonderful people where it's just too tough.
Yeah.
And I took on once, I've been so lucky in life that I took on once a job of being chairman of a nonprofit hospital because it was a losing hand. Too many competitors, too weak a position. It had a lot of terrible defects. And I said, this is good for me. I want to expose myself to the disappointments of the real world. And I want to tell you, it was 40 years of mixed agony and pleasure. and the agony never went away. Oh. It was, if the business is tough enough, it has a way of staying tough. As Warren says that when a business with a reputation for being tough and a manager with an opportunity for being brilliant get together, he says, it's the reputation of the business that remains. And if they start tough, they stay tough. Yeah. It's really hard to change a whole business or a person. Lots of luck if you're disappointed in one of your children.
You started.
Specialization is the safest way up for most people. And for that reason, say surgeons know more and more about less and less. And that's what gets rewarded. And if you have a nasty fistula in your colon, you do not want a surgeon who's good at Proust or political science. It's understandable how the world rewards this specialization. I never liked it, and I loved picking up new ideas, being a great, passionate reader. And so I decided I'd make whatever living I could make doing what I like to do, which is sort of romping over a whole field. I do not recommend it to other people because the safe way up is to know a hell of a lot about something. And under our system, they find you out. Now, Esri wouldn't have worked very well if you also raked lawns.
You never know. Really? I've done my share of it.
Yeah, well, I mean, but if you had everybody out here
Wouldn't work.
working by the hour, raking lawns on their spare time, it wouldn't work very well. If you learn your own language, that's a very useful gift. And of course, learning the basic math of life is another tremendous gift. And if you're really good at picking up language and doing just basic arithmetic, you can take enormous territory. You don't need much else. I have never looked at a calculus problem since I left Caltech. Never left it. Never looked once. Never used it. And I was a whiz. By the way, I went away totally. 70 some years, that was enough. Yeah, I don't know about your calculus, but mine is gone. And so, but this other stuff never goes away. And if you keep honing it and if you get good at it, then you learn something that's more important than what they teach you in college, is you learn the method of learning. When I want to know something, I just learn it. If they won't explain it to you, figure it out for yourself. Has helped me enormously in life. It's also hurt me because you give terrible offense when you go into somebody else's profession and act like you know more than he does.
Right.
And I'm much smoother now than I was when I was young. And I'm still pretty insufferable.